Oui, calamari. Hello. Welcome to Quarantine Art with Miss Mitchell. I was feeling a bit cooped up at home, so I decided to take a quick trip to Paris. France. It smells like romance and mimes. Lucky for you, I brought all the materials we'll need to make our project today. Let me show you what's up. Okay, I know this is probably going to come as a huge surprise, but I'm not really in Paris. I know that would not be very responsible of me right now. That's just a really cool green screen app that I have on my phone so I can pretend to go anywhere. Here's what we're going to be making today. I wanted to show you how to make these really cool little sketchbooks, so in between Quarantine Art with Miss Mitchell lessons, you can fill this up with amazing drawings. What you're going to need today is some cardboard, a medium weight cardboard, not too thick, works well. Again, you could use something like tag board folder. That would work just fine. We're just trying to give our cover of our sketchbook a little bit of strength. You'll also need a stack of white paper. Printer paper works just fine for that. Whatever size paper you use, just know we're going to be folding it over for our book, so it'll be half the size of the piece of paper. If you have colorful paper or patterny paper, that would be great to wrap the cover, but if you only have white, that's fine. It'll be more real estate for all of your awesome drawings. You might also want some stickers or magazine cutouts or something to help decorate. At one point, we will be gluing together the pages of our sketchbook, and you'll need something to hold it together or weigh it down. So maybe some little clips, or I finally found a use for the phone book, and you'll be wedging it in here like this, putting a little weight down on it. Our first step is to get our white paper ready to go inside of our sketchbook. And to do that, you're going to fold it in half horizontally, this way. Make sure you fold them all the same direction. Line up those edges. Smush down in the middle and press. And then you want to really double press this foldy side down with your fingernail. You want it to be as flat right there as possible so that they all stack together really nicely. I recommend having about 10 sheets of paper, so when you fold them over, you'll actually have 20 pieces of sketchbook paper, which if you use the front and the back side of your paper, you'll have 40 areas to make amazing art. So go ahead and continue folding these in half. Give them that double smush on the foldy edge, as flat as you can, times 10. Okay, so you may have been wondering, why didn't we just grab our stack of 10 pieces of paper and fold it in half and call it good? Well, because we needed to do that double smush on this edge to make it really flat as we can, and then we're actually going to stack each of our pieces of paper up together. They're not going to be inside of each other, they're going to be next to each other. So go ahead and stack up your 10 sheets, like so, and then this is where we're going to be pressing our pages or clipping them together. So line them all up, make sure all your foldy sides are going the same direction, and then go ahead and give it a little tap like this with the foldy side down to line those foldy sides up as evenly as you can. We want them to be really nice and straight here. Then if you're using clips, you can clip here in the middle and then 2 on the ends, like so. Make sure everything's staying lined up right here. If you're using the phone book or another heavy book, you can leave the foldy edge hanging out the edge of the phone book, smush it down, and again, make sure these are staying lined up really nicely. Then on the foldy side, the clipped edge of your papers, you're gonna add a little bit of glue. This is gonna be the spine of our sketchbook, and this is where all of our papers are going to be held together. So just put a little bead of glue on there, and then I just use my finger to smooth it out a little bit. We're going to let that dry, and then you're going to add 2 more coats just to make it really nice and strong. But while that's drying, we can start on our cover. To make your cover, I don't usually do an exact science here, but you can actually measure it out perfectly with a ruler if you want. I usually just kind of eyeball it, and it's up to you how much extra cover space you want there to be around your sketchbook. I usually leave about a 1/4 inch all the way around, and I just kind of eyeball it here, scooch, eyeball it here, and then you can connect those 2 lines. And I'm going to cut out this cardboard for my cover. All right, and then I need to create a little spine on my cover for the spine of my papers. So I'm gonna line up my sketchbook pad right along the edge of this left side and draw a line where my sketchbook hits near the middle. I'm gonna flip it over this way and do the same thing, line it up with this edge and trace this line. That way our sketchbook pad can rest right in that little spine. I'm gonna go ahead and score this line with my scissors. Just drag it right down your line, don't cut it all the way through. Just create a little line so that you can pop the cardboard and give it a little book spine here. All right, you're gonna flip it over so that your cuts are on the back side now. And you're gonna grab the piece of paper that you want to be on the outside of your book cover. It needs to be larger than the full size of your book cover by a little bit because we're gonna be folding this paper over. So go ahead and add some glue to the back side of your cover, or the outside. You can use gooey glue or glue stick for this. I kind of like the glue stick because it's flat, so then you don't see your gooey glue lines here on your cover. But if that's all you have, it will be just fine. All right, smush that down. You can even flip this over and make sure there's no bubbles on your cover side. And then we're going to be trimming around our cover, but you want to leave plenty of space for this paper to fold over inside. So maybe give it about an inch all the way around. You can measure it perfectly if you want. I'm winging it. Okay, and we're going to cut that rectangle out. And then in the corners, we need to cut it at an angle so that both sides can fold over without having to fold over each other. So you want to just snip off this corner and just make sure that you give it a little bit of room here between the point on your sketchbook corner and the edge of that paper. Otherwise, this cardboard tip will stick out a little bit. Again, if you cut it too close and it sticks out a little bit, not the end of the world. But if you want to leave just a little bit there, you won't have a hole on the corners. All right, now we're going to add some glue all the way around this inside edge of our sketchbook cover. And fold over each side. Make sure you're pressing it, folding it over as close as you can to the edge, pressing it down all the way across nice and flat. Okay, hopefully by now your sketchbook edge is ready for another layer of glue. I'm gonna do the same thing. Add a little bead of gooey glue. Rub it in with your finger. Let that dry. It probably would be fine at this stage. If you want, you can do one more coat. And then with your cover that you just wrapped, you want to kind of fold where those slices are and just make sure that it folds up really nicely. You might need to give these a little press. Make sure it's folding up into a book nicely. All right, once you have 2 or 3 coats on the spine of your papers and they're all dry, you can take the clips off. And we're gonna open up the very first and the very last pages of our sketchbook. And those are gonna help us attach our sketchbook pages to our sketchbook cover. So you're gonna add a little bit of glue. I'm gonna use gooey glue for this just so it's extra heavy duty. Add glue there. Smush down that front cover. Make sure your spine of your sketchbook paper is lining up with the spine of your cover. Gonna add a good line of glue here on the spine to make your book stick. And then do the same thing on the back cover. Open up that back page and press that down. Once you have all of your parts glued in, you have a simple sketchbook. Give it a little while to dry and you can start filling it up with amazing art. This is kind of a simple way to make little sketchbooks. They can get really elaborate where you're stitching together every page. Maybe I'll show you that someday, but hopefully everyone can make these at home with items they have lying around. You can decorate your cover. You can fill it up with poems and stories and drawings. Sometimes I even glue in other things that I've made or fun things that I find, like these cute stickers. It's all yours. It's an adventure handbook. Well, there you have it. I hope you had a wonderful time making sketchbooks, and I'm so excited for you to fill them up with amazing artistry. Here's the joke of the day. Why do French people eat snails? Because they don't like fast food. That's all for me. Have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow.